Greetings and salutations. Charlton 66 here once again with another video, and going through some comics and a few thank yous. Well, thank you to everyone in the community who's subscribed and commented to my channel. Up to over 100 subscribers now, so thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate that. And there's been a lot of help from folks who've mentioned me in their videos. And Thomas Churchill, thank you, sir, for your mentioning me in your contest to subscribe and check out my channel. I appreciate that. It's that kind of support and recognition and validation that makes the channel worthwhile and keeps me going and motivates me to keep making more videos. As a great legend said in his video, if he only had one viewer, one subscriber, that's all that he needed, and I feel the same way. So having over 100 is surprising. I never thought in this short span of time that I would have over 100 subscribers. So it's one of those things that it's to do the support from you guys and everyone in the community, the shout outs, the contests, the talking about each other's channels and keeping content relevant and interesting. So thanks to everybody. I do appreciate it. And one of the things I want to do, talking about relevant content. I haven't showed new comic books since I've been on the channel. I do buy and read new comics, and I don't go every Wednesday. I go like every 2 weeks. I do have a pull list from my local comic book store that has that pulls, like everyone else has a subscription service that pulls their comic books for them. So I go every 2 weeks because I know where I'm going to get. I know what's going to be in there. Going once a week, it's like a 30-mile trip, but it's fun to go to the store. So I just go, like I said, every 2 weeks. So some of the stuff that I picked up, some of the newer stuff. I'm not a big superhero. Well, I am a superhero guy. I like super. Don't get me wrong. I guess I'm trying to say I'm not a Spider-Man, Batman, Superman type of guy. Older stuff, yeah. Give me Spider-Man in the 60s and Superman in the 30s and 40s and Batman that time frame. But anyway, some of the stuff I picked up, Haunted Horror number 29, great reprinted horror stuff, Preco horror. Craig Yo does no wrong. The stuff that he does is just phenomenal. He does a lot of stuff through IDW, and some of the hardbacks he gets, I've showed them before, is just phenomenal stuff. So Haunted Horror, if you're not picking it up, you should. It's just a taste of comic books before the code, and it's just horror, good stuff. Of course, anything with the pulps, the Shadow. I'm a big Shadow guy. So here's Shadow 1, which this has various covers. Goes up to cover J, so go figure. There's a few covers that I wanted, but again, I'm not a variant cover looking person. I don't go out looking for variant covers, but there are a few ones I would like to have by artists, particularly on a certain character. Bill Sienkiewicz on the Shadow, I think, is a great artist for that character, and one of those covers was by him, so I like to have that cover. I'm sure I'll find it shortly at some point at some show. Lazarus is another comic book that I think a lot of people should be reading. Phenomenal story. Strong female characters, strong female leads in it, but it's one of those comic books that I think would be an excellent television show because the way that it's written in the comic book, the continuation and the continuity, that it's the tight woven story, where I think would make for a perfect TV show. Daredevil number 25. think this is the only Marvel book that I get, with the exception of Moon Knight, which I think's ended anyway. Because Daredevil's outside of the Marvel continuity, the main Marvel stuff, which I can't stand. So it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool to read Daredevil. Another great comic book series has been around for about, this is the 12th issue, Black Hammer. Great story on that. Artwork is phenomenal. It reminds me of Guy Davis, but it's not as sketchy as Guy Davis. But the artwork really fits the storyline in the book. Again, my love for the Shadow, Batman in the Shadow. Again, it's the only title I read with the name Batman in it, probably in 30 years. That's number 5. Batman Shadow number 5. Commanding Challenge number 8. Steve the Dude Root, I think, is doing the art chores on this. Yeah. Keith Giffen's writing it. Number 8. And the Manhunter. No more Kirby goodness. Got that issue. And I think, my personal opinion, I don't ever tell anybody what they should say, what they should collect or read or whatever, but for comic book history, if you really want to know comic book history and have, I don't want to say a scholarly approach, but more of an in-depth of, people who were there, who experienced it, comic book history, and people who were there and created the comic books and the foundation that we have now in the comic book community. You should be reading Alter Ego. It's a bit pricey. They're $9.95 a piece, but it's all you get is comic book history. You get tons of stuff, interviews, Critics of Green Lantern, the interviews. It's glossy paper. It's just tons of interviews and pictures and historical documents and all sorts of stuff that show you talk about how comic books were made. This is based off an old fanzine from the 60s called Alter Ego that Roy Thomas did with a whole bunch of other fandom folks back in the 60s. And so they continued it to this day. But it's Alter Ego. This is the most recent issue, number 148. You can also get this, like everything else, you can get this digitally as well. And on that same vein, for us Bronze Age folks who grew up in the Bronze Age and read comics in the Bronze Age, back issue, this is the most recent issue, number 99. They're almost up to the 100th issue now. But this back issue here, again, it's the same quality of format, same by the same publishers, Tomorrow's publication, but tons of interviews and artwork, never seen stories, and there's storylines in here that were never published before. Same thing with Alter Ego, that you can see it for the first time. So again, back issue, it's a must. Also, I picked up Dark Horse's Book of Horror. It's a nice hardbound book with great stories in here. Look at the front piece. I mean, it's really, really nice. And it's a nice hardbound book. Text stories, comic stories in here. Hellboy, Beast of Burden, a whole bunch of stuff is in the Gargiani. A whole bunch of stuff. Nice hardbound book. It's only $19.95, so had to pick that a big horror fan. And onward to another series. I don't know if a lot of people have heard about it or not. It's called Space Riders. And I had bought the first issue on Free Comic Book Day. And I'm standing in line with the first issue, and a guy just comes up to me, another customer, and says, "Oh man, I'm glad another person's reading that comic book. It's awesome." And it looked interesting to me. The art was really bold and garish almost. And it's called The Galaxy of Brutality was the title of the storyline. And I did not know there was another story arc prior to this one. It's been sold out. But the guy's like, "Yeah, it's a great comic. It's a great story. You'll like it." And he goes, there's a hardbound collection of the first story. And he showed me where it was at, and I picked it up. So this is Space Riders. It's a hardbound edition of the first 4 issues, and it's really a good story and good artwork. It's one of these. At first, the artwork is offsetting almost. You're kind of taken aback by it. It's real garish and real, and the inks and the ink lines are real bold. It's kind of chaotic a little bit, but there's a reason for it. It fits the story. It fits what's going on in the comic book. It's about a captain named Captain Peligro that's getting redemption in the galaxy, and his spaceship is a flying skull called Santa Muerte, and it's a ship is a flying skull, so it would bring terror in the hearts of his enemies. And they show the inside of the spaceship and whatnot, but yeah, there's a spaceship right there flying, and these are a bunch of raiders who are getting ready to battle with. As you can see, the artwork is real garish. The colors are really out there, heavy bold inking, and the pages that he's drawn on look like they're dirty. There's dirty spots on the pages, like you can see up here on top. It looks like pages are filthy and dirty, and it's basically almost like a Mad Max in outer space. But I recommend it. It's a fun read. So I had bought that one, and of course it continues on in issue 1, and I had issue 2 right here, Galaxy of Brutality, number 2. Some glare off of that, but it's called Space Raiders. I'm sorry, Space Riders. Space Riders. I recommend it. It's a fun story. It's from Black Mask. The trade paperback, or the hardbound book from Space Riders. It's $24.99. I think you can get the issues alone off their website. I went to the Black Mask website, and I'm pretty sure you can. I think issue 2 is only in the 3rd printing, and issue 3 is in the 2nd printing. But you can get all 4 issues, or the trade paperback, and the continuation of issues 1 and 2. So, again, Space Riders. It's a pretty fun series. Again, think of Mad Max in outer space. So, and I also got. I don't, like I said, I'm not into variant covers. I don't go out to look for them. But I never read any of this. But it's called the Multiverse Panamericana. Obviously, where I got this one. Obviously, where I got this one is got the Charlton characters on the front, and the main focus on this particular issue. I just love this cover of the Charlton heroes. Peacemaker right here. I love how they did his helmet. But I just love that cover. And I read the issue. It's decent enough. Pretty violent. But it was still pretty good. How they rendered Peacemaker was pretty decent. So I did pick up this. I know it's been out for a while, but this is the first time that I've seen it. But I love that cover. The way it's drawn and the way it's the camera angle is on that one. So that was pretty cool. And I picked up another issue from a buddy inker of mine named Mark McKenna called Combat Jacks. I think his name is Jason or James Barodi. Does the artwork. Mark McKenna wrote this, but it's an issue he sent to me called Combat Jacks. He signed it for me right there in the middle. But those are the newer issues that I picked up. I know I don't usually don't do newer comics on here. I'll start doing it more because a lot of people seem to enjoy talking about their newer books. I've seen a lot of haul videos of their Wednesday's pickup and what they've done at the comic book store. Issues they picked up, variant covers, which is pretty exciting to see. What people like and the taste people have. So I figure I'd show what I like and give you guys a taste of my tastes, I guess. And onward to, last but not least, show some Charltons real quick. First issue I'm going to show is Captain Atom, number 79 from 1966. Great Kirby stuff right there. Great Kirby good. Oh, excuse me. Jeez, Ditko goodness right there. You got a lot of Steve Ditko stuff in Captain Atom. He never had a number one. He started out in Space Adventures number 33, and then he went on to Strange Suspense Stories. He bounced around there, and then he got his own title. But the poor guy never had a number one until he went to DC. But that's the way Charlton did stuff back then. Here's Captain Atom number, can't read it, number 80. Nice high grade copy. Captain Atom number 81. Another high grade copy. Dr. Spectro. Which they brought him back, I do believe, in DC's continuity with Captain Atom. This is the first appearance of Nightshade. Captain Atom number 82. Of course, I'm missing the proverbial number 83 with the first appearance of Ted Kord, which I really want to get, but it's hard to pull the trigger on that price. But I eventually will get it. I will have it. If I have to trade some books to get it, but it will be in my collection. Hopefully, this Baltimore con, I will have my hands on it. I got my tickets to Baltimore, which is awesome. Hopefully, I'll have a guest with me that I've invited to go. Hopefully, he can make it. It's a fellow YouTuber. So I hope he can make it. We got the tickets, so I can't wait for it to happen. I'm a big fan of the show. I'm in a whole different world when Baltimore Comic Con is here. It's just there's not for me when I go to the Comic Con for Baltimore. There's not a care in the world. It's like there's peace in the universe. Yeah, it's a whole different mindset when I'm there. So looking forward to it. Now here's a really nice high grade copy, number 86, 1967, Captain Atom. And Doom 143, if you're watching, you asked me in the comments in your video, which Charlton should you buy? Right here, some of them. Captain Atom, any of the sci-fi from the 50s is phenomenal stuff from Charlton. A lot of beautiful Ditko artwork. They're very, very pricey. There's a lot of collections that are out there. I showed some before in my videos. I just looked at my bookshelf to see them, but Charlton's to buy is, like I said, horror and sci-fi stuff from the 50s. The superhero, action hero line, Captain Atom, Blue Beetle, all that kind of stuff is really neat to have. The horror issues from the 70s, because you get artwork from Tom Sutton, you get artwork from Jim Aparo, Mike Zeck's early stuff, John Byrne's early stuff, particularly with Space 1999 and Doom Plus One was another series, sci-fi series that he did in the 70s. That's all those are stuff that I recommend. Again, Charlton it's a crapshoot when it comes to issues. There are some issues that are just phenomenal, and there are other issues you're just shaking your head like, wow, really, this is supposed to be a comic book story. It's just the charm of the company. They let the artists do what they want to do and the writers do what they wanted to do. As long as they got a comic book out, that's what they were concerned with. So Charlton's a fun company to collect. You'll find hidden gems for pennies, really. I mean, there's a couple bucks an issue, and you'll find early stuff by Zeck or Aparo or Byrne. Tom Sutton, of course, phenomenal stuff. Steve Ditko did tons of horror stuff for him in the 70s. So that's my answer for stuff for Charlton books to buy. Captain Atom number 88, another nice copy. So Doom 143, if you're listening, that's what I'd recommend for Charlton. Captain Atom would be a good place. Excuse me, I didn't mean to bump the camera. Captain Atom would be a good place to start. Here's number 89. Close towards the end there until they started doing reprints. All right, that's what I'm going to show today. Thanks for viewing and subscribing. I do appreciate everything and what everyone said, the comments people leave. I love the community and I love the support, and it's cool that we got each other's back. So, until the next time, hope you guys stay safe and have a good night. Talk to y'all later.